Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you might be listening here. This is Yonks with Gigs Go Green, and we are continuing to refine our narrative through our submissions with the HeroX. And right now, we are refining the Solve It submission. And joining with me this afternoon is my superpower, Tyler, aka Mrs. Yonks, and also Amy. So we're gonna just hop right in. This is literally the 11th hour. The deadline for submission is 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it's a little after 11 a.m. here in Mountain Time. So anyway, gonna hop over here to our team page. Gigs Go Green, a movement for gig workers. And I'm just going to read our mission real quick because I absolutely love this. Mission is to onboard 10 million gig workers by 2030, teaching and embracing sustainability while rewarding them with increasing ownership through synergistic cooperatives. And real quick, I think it's worth mentioning what Solve It stands for. Solve It is solutions for lasting, viable energy infrastructure technologies. And this is one of the things that we're really looking to create primarily within Gigs Go Green, which is 3 synergistic cooperatives. And we're looking to bring the energy infrastructure through solar EV, which we're positioning as, well, it's got 3 main components: the solar for generating the energy, battery storage for storing the energy, and then EV charging for distributing that energy. So anyway, going over here to our other tab, and let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for everybody. So this is our submission narrative that we've been working through. And as mentioned on our first working group the other day, largely bringing over the narrative that we created through the Community Energy Innovation Prize, and going to be adding some stuff. That was something that we submitted, I think it was on the first week of February, perhaps February 2nd, if memory serves. So anyway, I'm going to scroll down here. This is the submission kit solar IT prize that was the templated document, not required to submit within here. And then, so just scrolling down, I redacted the team members stuff for the live stream for privacy reasons. Short description and communities affected. Gigs Go Green, a movement for gig workers targeting Uber and Lyft drivers first. And again, our mission, which I already stated. And this is a Euler diagram that really shows the synergistic cooperatives that we are using to fulfill our mission of increasing ownership for gig workers. So this is stuff that we need to make sure that we remove final to our our submission is this kind of additional verbiage. One of the things that I didn't do that I will go through and maybe even do that during the working group here today is to see what our word count is. And I've got a comment over here, so made it a little bit smaller. This was something that I thought that we could potentially add some opportunity, and that's one of the reasons that I highlighted it in pink. And just to add the comment, here's an opportunity to better highlight how we are committed to benefiting identified underserved communities. And I mentioned that this is probably something that was a little lacking on our previous HeroX submission. So I don't know if I really need to go into too many details on this. Like I said, this is stuff that we submitted. And I think that we did a good job looking at our narrative. This is the section 1.4 benefits from the rules document that we went through and shortlisted from the working group the other day. And one of the things that we should probably, I'm going to highlight this here real quick. Highlight, comments, ensure this is touched on effectively. So the stuff in between the lines, like everything here in between these lines, are stuff that we need to remove in our final submission. And then So let's see. Tyler added a comment here, adding some stuff.
Yeah, that was just a draft. I literally wrote that like 15 minutes ago. So let me I'm gonna work on that some more. And the biggest thing is I thought that we were being pretty clear that um Uber drivers are disproportionately minorities compared to the population. And the justice argument is that if you want to own a Tesla, you either have to have good enough credit and a W-2 job to qualify for a $60,000 car, or you're renting one and you get zero equity. So both of those are problems that we're solving. And I thought that we were pretty clear about that, but I guess we weren't.
And maybe it might be beneficial just to like put a section in here like identified problems and just like make a bullet point or two bullet points, and then have the additional verbiage to substantiate the problems that we're solving. Because I absolutely agree with you, but again, that may have required some discernment or interpretation that might not have been clear. And if we just like create a really simple bullet list as far as problems gig workers face, and then have the additional verbiage that we've got. So that's just some thoughts on that. So engagement plan, I'm just going to take a look at these bullet points here real quick. Describe your approach for comprehensive, successful, and effective community engagement and how you plan to measure progress toward community engagement goals. Describe the resources, including resources to help evaluate different technologies for various scenarios that you will need to successfully engage with your community. Describe any actions required to access or obtain these resources. So one of the things that, and this is something that I mentioned before we went live, the big opportunity to enhance our submission is including the work that we've done on solar EV for churches. Because looking through it, I'm going to just bounce up to the table of contents really quick here. As you can see on our engagement plan, that isn't something that was included. So I think that that's probably the biggest opportunity, is to include a step here, potentially a step, make it a step 1 or step 2, and then bump these other things down one notch on that list. So I still really like this engagement plan. I don't think that anything else has changed except for that, and I think that that was one of the things that was really missing. Because like when you look at these engagement plan steps, we didn't have anything as far as we talked about launching a community solar club on Kickstarter, and this is one of the things that is still a question mark, but not necessarily as relevant to this conversation, because I think that it may make more sense to launch a solar EV member dynamic instead of just a community solar club. But that's still a question mark, because one of the things, and I'm going to go a little bit off track here, is I think that we can create a higher value proposition, especially on rooftop solar for what we're doing. But I'm going to curb that tangent right now to get back on track. So let's actually just do that real quick here. Looking here at the list, I think that we should make this maybe a step 3. Establish organizational governance, because we've already done that, and maybe we should rearrange some. And I'll take that offline to get what I think makes the most sense, because we already started our establish organizational governance with our bylaws working group that we held last week on April the 4th, and I feel really good about the direction on that. One of the things that we need to think of, because one of the other opportunities, I'm going to go back up real quick to the engagement plan. One of the milestones that we have is to add our patent that we are now patent pending for our cooperative ownership using blockchain property tokens. And I'll again add that to the engagement plan. I'm pretty sure that we're limited to 5 images that we've got in here. Out of the images that we've got the Euler diagram here as one. We've got, let's see what else we have. This is one that would be easy to remove, that doesn't add a whole lot of value. The screenshot from Jeff Pote's blog. I like this one. So I think we've got an opportunity. I'm only seeing 3 here, so I only am thinking that we need to add 2. So just adding the patent pending application being filed along with the Tesla Black showing the cooperative ownership with the 2 drivers, or the 4 drivers and the 2 vehicles, I think will add some nice imagery for what we're doing here. And looking here at this section, resources and capabilities to implement proposed activities, this is one of the things I'm not sure how much that we want to enhance upon this, but this is something that I don't feel that we spent a lot of time to really refine in our prior submission. Concluding remarks, and again, I don't have the word count. This is something that I was hoping to have done as far as where we're at on a word count on these sections, but I'll get that itemized so that we can ensure, because again, our word count, we're limited to 2,000 words. I think we were pretty decently under that before, but that's something that we want to ensure that we are compliant within here on this submission. So the concluding remarks, I'm just going to read this here real quick. Gigs Go Green, a movement for gig workers. We believe that this is a compelling solution to climate change, which we are structuring as alternative ownership enterprises for the primary benefit of gig workers. When telling people about this movement, most people can see this movement working and providing meaningful benefits to our local communities. And I don't know if this would be a good opportunity, especially by upgrading existing parking lots with solar canopies, battery storage, and DC fast EV charging. Help us make it a reality by giving our project a nod and proceeding the next round in this HeroX Solve It prize. And this is probably something that we should remove too on the double check. Do you have a complete submission package? Because that obviously doesn't add any value for the reviewers. So anyway, I don't know if we really need to spend much more time during the working group here today. What are your thoughts, Tyler? I mean, do you want to walk through some things on the working group, or do you want to just call this a wrap and then take the stuff that we've identified offline and then work on finalizing our submission here for this afternoon?
We're so tight on time. We either need to do it now or close. But we don't need to talk anymore. We just got to do it. I mean, we've got less than 4 hours to get this thing in the door.
Agree. What are your thoughts on that, Amy? And I will take the silence as a nod in agreement to what you just said there, Tyler. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a wrap. This was a short working group, but this sort of thing I think is more effective, us just doing our thing offline and not spending time on the Zoom here. So anyway, I'm going to stop the screen share. This was a short live stream for what we're doing, but that's is what it is. And we've got stuff to do. And as you mentioned, Tyler, not much time to do it. So anyway, until our next working group, make sure that you subscribe wherever you're coming in here so that you can follow all the cool stuff that we're building here through our DAO ecosystem to bring cooperatives forward, bringing real world assets, tokenizing real world assets. Very exciting about all the news that I've been seeing as far as moving that needle forward. And that's something that we're wanting to lead the initiative. And most importantly, is really create impactful benefits for people that don't normally have ownership, such as gig workers, and through this amazing Web3 blockchain technology to amplify those opportunities and create great returns for investors as well. But anyway, until next time, everybody.